Well, Donald Trump got a hero's welcome at a UFC event in New Jersey on Saturday night. The far-left media keeps insisting Jets quarterback Aaron Rodgers snubbed the former president. Rodgers begs to differ. Let's bring in the author of Come On Man, Fox News contributor Joe Concha, and a senior fellow for the Independent Women's Forum, District Media Group President Beverly Hallberg. Thank you both for coming on. Joe Concha, to you first. I want to read these headlines. This is from the liberal Huffington Post. Aaron Rodgers totally passes on greeting Trump at UFC event. LiberalNewJersey.com watch. Jet star and longshot VP candidate Aaron Rodgers snubs Trump at UFC. Liberal Mediaite. Aaron Rodgers snubs Trump at UFC 302 fight card. At least Mediaite corrected it, kind of, by saying the next time, not exactly. I mean, it's untrue, Joe, but who cares, because it's just Trump. You can say whatever you want.
Precisely. And just wait for the story to unfold, right? When Trump first walked out at that UFC event and everybody was cheering 16,000 at the Rock in Newark on Saturday night, all stood and cheered Donald Trump in that deep blue city of Newark, New Jersey. And when he first walked by Aaron Rodgers, as you see there, Rodgers didn't stand up because Trump was doing his thing, but eventually came over to the former president, shook hands with him, and in this case, posted it on his own social media account, Rodgers did, and called the photo with Trump priceless. Remember, this is someone, Trace, who RFK Jr. said that he would consider to be his vice presidential pick. So I think now Rodgers is probably voting for Trump. He's definitely not voting for Biden. I think that's certainly for sure.
Yeah, and as Joe was saying there, Beverly, you have Aaron Rodgers who posted this on there, was very kind. And we want to put this up, that we just saw the Instagram thing. Put it up again if you want to see it. But it's amazing because they just won't correct it. They just don't have it in them to go back and say, okay, we screwed it up.
They never love that correction, do they, to go back and actually fix it. And I think this event was especially hard for many in the mainstream media because when you hear that crowd chanting, it's hard to cover it any other way. And what I can say about Donald Trump, he definitely wants to take this label of convicted felon and turn it into his benefit. And I think it was smart of him to show that he is a fighter, showing up at an actual fight, and to a crowd that he knew would probably give him a standing ovation. I think it's smart because it's not just a traditional campaign event. This is an event with many different people there, and their support shows that not only do they like Donald Trump, but also they're not afraid to do that on camera. So I think the fact that people are feeling willing to speak out on it, the media are going to have a hard time covering that.
Yeah, that is one of the surprising things. Meantime, here is the media hate mob, a little montage of what they had to say. Watch.
Do you think it would be dangerous for the country if Donald Trump were sentenced to jail?
This is, I think, what Donald Trump is aiming for. This is essentially his threat that if he gets jail time, that he's going to encourage his supporters to rise up.
I'm afraid of him going to jail.
Wow.
And not for him, not for his safety. I'm more concerned for you and for all of us. In a prison situation, he's willing to give away these secrets, as I always say, for a bag of tuna or a book of stamps.
It's like a Liars Anonymous panel, Joe. I mean, it's just crazy. You put it on Adam Schiff, and then you put on Michael Cohen. You're like, let him go. It's like putting Michael Avenatti on night after night after night, which they did.
Well, thank you, Trace. Yeah, exactly. Michael Cohen is Michael Avenatti 2.0. Adam Schiff literally was censured in the United States Congress for lying. So, yeah, let's put these people on as if they're credible. Here's what I know, Trace. Donald Trump has raised more than $200 million in the span of 3 days since his conviction. Let's put that in context for a second. $200 million for Trump over 3 days. The Biden campaign raised $50 million in the span of the entire month last month. And we've seen a few polls out since the conviction, Trace. It shows either a slight bump for Biden, slight bump for Trump. If we were in Vegas, Trace, this is a wash. National polls don't mean anything anyway. It all comes down to 7 swing states: North Carolina, Georgia, Arizona, Nevada, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania. Let's wait about 3 weeks. Let's see what those state polls are. I have a feeling it's either a wash again or a bump for Trump, given the reaction that we're seeing to the sham trial that most people think is a sham at this point.
Here is James Comey, who said this on MSNBC.
They would just put him in a double wide somewhere out near the fence, out in the grass. And he would eat there, he'd shower there, he'd exercise there, he'd be away, as Danya Perry said, from general population. But it's obviously doable.
So nice to see the former FBI director is now a lefty liberal media guy on MSNBC. Beverly.
I think he's still selling some books. But here's the thing that I think is surprising about many in the media is that they've covered indictments for quite a few years now. And every time that Trump is indicted, he seems to get more support. They seem to not understand sometimes that when people try to take Donald Trump down, and many people who aren't a fan of his look at this trial and say, this isn't the trial. You could look at some others and say, okay, there's a little bit more legitimacy there. But many people are calling this a sham. And I think they're fooling themselves to think that this is necessarily going to benefit Biden. So just like Joe was saying, we're going to see in about 3 weeks where the polling is. And I think you may see some shocked faces on many contributors' faces and also some of the hosts of these shows.
You might. Beverly, Joe, thank you both.
Thank you, Joe.